Hi, you're watching West Bloomfield 911. I'm your host, Tim Shepard, and on behalf of Chief Michael Patton and Deputy Chief Kurt Lawson and my brothers and sisters in blue, I want to welcome you all to the show. Joining me today is Stacie Zotkovich, President of the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. Stacie, thank you very much for taking the time today to come out and speak with me. It's wonderful to have a business leader take time excuse me, out of their day. Can you tell me a little bit about what is a Chamber of Commerce and how did you get involved with the Chamber of Commerce?
The Chamber of Commerce in West Bloomfield is best known for connecting businesses to businesses, to bring awareness on certain events that need to be noticed from the community, as well as, you know, being there to support the community, the businesses, the police station as well, or the policemen, whatever you guys have. So we like to be part of the community and be involved as much as we possibly can. So if you are starting a company, then West Bloomfield is definitely a place that you want to do that and then be a part of the Chamber of Commerce.
You know, obviously I work for the police department, so I deal with a lot of businesses, and obviously the Chamber of Commerce is something that I've heard of in my work. As far as you becoming part of the Chamber of Commerce, your role is the president. What is the role of a president in the Chamber of Commerce? How did you become president?
Well, to become president, you have to be part of the chamber for at least a year or so you understand how it works and the intricacies of what the values are. And then also you have to be kind of nominated to take the next role. I was nominated to be vice president after a couple of years. Then after that, president-elect, and then president, and where I'm serving my term. And I don't have a gavel that you hit, come to order, but we have monthly meetings, and we talk about what's going on in the community, the events that we are doing, if there's any communities that are situations that maybe somebody needs a little extra help, we want to be involved in that. And again, business-to-business connections. We also started a young professionals group, which is great for those companies that have the young professionals. It gets their company out, you know, noticed into the community as well, and it gives the young professionals an opportunity to understand what the Chamber of Commerce is, as well as what they can do. And so we try and teach them, you need to know your 30-second pitch, and because you're going to be using that a lot throughout, you know, their career. So learn it now.
And so as far as your tenure as the leader of this group, when did you start? How far along are you into that right now?
I've 6 months, but of course 6 months more to go. So I'm going to be having a meeting and seeing what else can we do in the last 6 months of my presidency, and see what we can do to help anyone in the community.
You know, I know that, you know, we're a bedroom community here in West Bloomfield and in the greater West Bloomfield area. But we do have a lot of businesses, and I think that it's wonderful to have that connection. And as far as the police department, we want to be involved with those businesses in a positive light, not only in the negative, which sometimes comes along with police work, but in terms of you and your business. Obviously, this is not your full-time job. I would imagine that you have a different job.
I certainly do.
And can you tell me a little bit about what you do and where you work?
I work for Family Funeral Care, which is part of Dignity Memorial, which is a corporate company. And the nice thing about that is we are available to all families in every state, and in most locations as well. So if you're in this area, my home base is in Keagle Harbor, which isn't very far from West Bloomfield. And the Keagle Harbor has a really cute little funeral home, and it's there to be tailored for the community. And therefore, we have the most affordable prices, because we don't want people to sit there and have their hands on their head. What am I going to do? How am I going to pay for this? And
especially at those times when you're in a lot of stress and emotional upheaval going on in your life. You know.
So you're going to still get the same quality service, almost like a Ritz-Carlton service and feel, and knowing that you're being well taken care of in all avenues. But you're not paying the Ritz-Carlton price. You are getting exactly what you need for a price that you can afford, and we will work with anyone to make sure that they're not still writing that check 5 months from now, or still having to worry about how am I still going to pay for this by putting on a credit card.
Well, you know, I know that as far as an advocate at those emotional times, it's important that you have somebody that you trust, and that is as not only has the financial thing going on, right? Because some companies just want to take advantage in those times, and I would imagine, knowing you, you know, and your character and who you are, that the business that you're working in now, that you actually care about these people, and what's going on in their lives. And how long have you been with this company?
I've been with them since last year.
Okay.
And you're right, we do go above and beyond. And I know other funeral homes like to say that, but we actually prove it. We actually do. I was just recently at Family Funeral Care, and there was a family who wasn't really sure what to do. She had some clothes and didn't know where to take them. And I said, you know what? I will take them for you, and I will donate them. And she's like, you would? I'm like, absolutely, because that's what we're going to do for them. Sure. I mean, they have enough going on and enough on their plate. And, you know, another family there, they didn't know where to go for any services afterward. And I said, well, I'm actually from that area. I said, so I would probably check out this place. And they actually came back and said, thank you. That the food was phenomenal. The service was great. We couldn't have been happier, and it was so less stressful than for us to try and go and find places. Okay. So, and that's just the tip of the iceberg of what we do as far as, you know, taking the time. I've taken the loved one to someone's house personally, on a couple of occasions. Okay. And because that's what I would want someone to do for my family. And any family that walks in through the door, I'm going to take care of them like it's a relative, whether it's my mom, my dad. Not that I would want it to be, but...
No, of course. No, I understand what you're saying.
It's such an emotional roller coaster for them, and if they can just have someone there that's honest. And that's another reason why I came to Family Funeral Care. Their ethics, what they stand for, how they are with the family and the staff, that's who I am and what I represent. Yeah. So therefore, I'm going to choose the company that I work for that has those same kind of values.
Absolutely. And that's wonderful to hear. And like I had mentioned, you know, when it comes to those emotional times, I say emotional, I guess I'm not looking, I don't know the proper term to say, but it's so hard for anyone. We've all had people that we've lost in our lives. And I know that this is, you know, sometimes a topic that is not necessarily taboo, but something that people don't want to really consider. And then you don't think about till the time when you actually need that. So to have the support of someone that cares, I think is phenomenal, number one. And, you know, when it comes to the Chamber of Commerce, that's kind of how you got involved with the Chamber of Commerce, through your company deciding, hey, I want to get involved to network, or what was the connection there, or is it just two different things?
Right, I was already involved with the Chamber of Commerce before, and then I was able to escalate and be more involved being with Family Funeral Care. And what I like to do is go out to the community, go to the hospice centers, go to senior centers, the assisted living, senior nursing places. Sure. And I like to talk to them about, you know, planning. Like, you can have your trust and you can have all the finances prepared and ready, but do you have the planning done? Because at the end of the day, someone's going to have to do it.
Sure.
And at some point, it's going to be spent either now or down the road, but let's just get it done and off your plate and not let your family members have to deal with it. And it's just such a stress relief. And so I do go out to the communities, and I take a positive approach and saying, it's going to happen to us. Let's just get it planned. Let me help you. I will sit down and I will guide you through. We have a great resource, which is called the Personal Planning Guide. Okay. And so we recently developed a program for the community to have time frames where they can come in and we can do it together. Okay. And then we can have an advisor come in. And on top of that, we also have forms where we can help them identify and fill out a form for a funeral representative and have it notarized. So what the main issue is that people don't understand how much work, how much stress is really involved at a certain time of their life. And I'd rather take that stress off of them by pre-planning ahead of time. Sure. And think of us, you never know. I mean, my brother, you know, he was around one day, and at 9:58 p.m., he was gone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it is sad, but it's part of life. And I wish that I would have had this information about pre-planning. He had 2 kids, you know, and here I am, the sister. I'm trying to help take care of it, and yet I'm in this fog, like, what is going on? Sure. Because I hadn't experienced such a close loss. I mean, grandparents, yes, but my own sibling. Sure.
like very unexpected and things like that.
Right, and so by having that to identify with other people in that loss, I'm like, let's get it done.
Okay.
You know?
Well, let me ask you this. So as far as we've talked about the pre-planning, what about situations that happen out of the blue, essentially?
Right, and that's where I was kind of saying with my brother is, you know, not knowing where to go, not knowing who to call. And so if I can get out in the community and say, if something should happen, please think about calling us as soon as possible. You know, family funeral care, most affordable prices. We can tailor to your needs, and we will do a courtesy transfer. That's so huge. If something happens and the family's like, I don't know what I want to do, I have no idea, at least allow us to come take the loved one into our care so you know that they are properly being taken care of and that they're in great hands.
Well, it sounds like a wonderful company, and I know being in this community, and I see you at many events and many different things, so we appreciate you and your company and the service. Obviously, as the police, we don't promote any business, but we do recognize the important businesses that mean a lot to the community in terms of those emotional times. I mean, every business is important, but I'm talking about when it comes to your loved ones and those times in your life. So we appreciate that you're in the community. And I know that as far as the Chamber of Commerce, obviously the police are very appreciative of all that your group does to try to promote business. And when we come back, there's a few more things I know about you that we're going to talk about.
Okay.
So let's take a short break, and we will be back with more West Bloomfield 911.
I was out shopping the other day when a man approached me and said, "Aren't you the treasurer, Andy Meisner?" "Yeah," I said, "that's me." He told me he had a stack of mail from our office, but had been too scared to open it. He asked if there was anything I could do to help him manage his delinquent property taxes. The answer I told him was yes. Help is available. If you're like him or know someone who's fallen behind on property taxes, know that help is available. But before the deadline, contact our office immediately before it's too late. If you experience a financial hardship, there may be money available to pay your property taxes. Step Forward Michigan is a federally funded program that assists homeowners with delinquent mortgages and property taxes. If you qualify for the program, they'll pay up to $30,000 in the form of an interest-free, payment-free, forgivable loan. You must have income to pay taxes going forward. We have financial counselors on hand to help you complete an application and to assist with budgeting and connecting you with other resources. Foreclosure prevention is in everybody's best interest. Not only can we keep families in their homes, but we can protect property values and keep our neighborhoods strong. Let's fight foreclosure and keep Oakland County a great place to live, work, and play.
Welcome back to West Bloomfield 911. I'm your host, Tim Shepard, and again, I'm here with Stacie Zotkovich. And Stacie, again, thanks for taking the time out to come today and talk to me. So I know a few things about you that I want to bring up, and by no means want to embarrass you, but I know that you are involved in pageants and have been. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Absolutely, I'd love to. I am a former Mrs. Michigan. In 2014, I was Mrs. Michigan United States. And it opened a bunch of doors and opportunity for me to get out and just carry out my passion of helping people think differently, if they're in a tough situation, just to turn it around. And it opened up the door to just so many different things, and I love that in my life, and it makes it better, and it also helps out other people as well. And then I felt that my job wasn't quite done, so in 2016, I, of course, did another one, because it's kind of, once you start doing it, it's fun, and you know, it just helps you in everyday life with, you know, connecting with people, communicating with them. So in 2016, I was Mrs. Michigan USA Universal, went to nationals, and I made it in the top 10.
Well, so that's amazing.
It was exciting.
Well, congratulations.
So every time, a little better.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
I can't say that maybe there might not be another one, but who knows?
Yeah, you never know. And, you know, obviously getting involved in things outside of your professional work is a wonderful thing. As far as those titles, what does that entail? So it's a year-long thing.
It is.
And then you go out and you speak to people, or do you promote? What goes on? What do you do as?
Most people have a platform.
Okay.
And mine is definitely going out and changing your thought process
Okay.
and turning the negative self-talk into positive.
Okay.
And my thing is everyone says, oh, well, let's get you connected with a certain foundation.
Okay.
You know, and there's a lot of great names out there for foundations. My own personal choice is I feel that I can connect with so many other foundations instead of limiting myself to just one, because I want to help so many different people, because what I talk about is just not for one foundation.
Okay.
And so getting people's mind frames and thoughts is just another tool for me to help them on a daily basis.
Well, your family and friends, I would imagine, were very proud of you for getting involved in doing that. It's a wonderful thing to have those titles. And just being involved and doing something like that is positive for your, probably, I assume you have kids, so positive for your kids to see you doing that and let them know that they can attempt things in their life. So we spoke a little bit about your platform. And I say platform loosely because I know that I don't know the terminology really.
Just
but
fine.
In terms of your platform, tell me, you mentioned motivational or positive speaking. Continue with that and tell me what you're doing now with that.
So because of all of that, I've had companies reach out and say, hey, we would really like to bring you in. Our staff needs it. And I said, no problem. Well, what is the name of your company? And so it kind of got me thinking, and I wanted to have something that meant exactly what I represented. And so I came up with the positive shift. And my tagline is, don't coast to neutral, positive shift ahead.
Okay, good.
Because you can use that in any situation.
Sure.
So I provide a toolkit that you can use on a daily basis of if you've got something going on and you just can't get it out of your head. I mean, we've all been in that situation. Or you know, you have a phone call or something, a meeting with your boss, and you're like starting to freak out about it, and you're maybe catastrophizing a little bit.
Okay.
I give you the tools to say, okay, you can cancel, clear, delete that thought out of your head, say a mantra. And mantras are really a good thing because what it does, by the time that you say the cancel, clear, delete, your mantra, and if you need to take yourself to a happy place to get your mindset refocused and stop thinking about the negative thought, then that's what you have to do. And I don't care if you have to say it 100 times, 200 times a day, and you can really use it for any situation that you're involved with.
Well, I'll just say this, you know, before we started shooting today, that you had helped me calm down a little bit for my own, you know, anxiety in other ways, and I can definitely sense that that's something that you're really good at. Do you have any examples of stories that you can tell me that you had went out and spoke to somebody that was, you know, needed some motivational speaking?
I was doing a big speaking event, and I had a couple of people come up to me after, and they got very emotional. And they said, I didn't realize how much I needed this in my life. I didn't realize how much I was giving myself up for other people, and it made me regain that I matter and that I have to set goals for myself. And that's another thing, is I have them set 3 goals, what they want to do, and it can't be a dream. It can't be something a year from now. It has to be everything in arm's length. So when they leave, they have 3 goals, how they're going to do it, and then why they want it. Because you have to understand those components, and nobody's just going to say, hey, can you just tell me 3 goals? And nobody follows through on it, and then they start to get frustrated. But again, if you bring the cancel, clear, delete, the mantra, and if you have to go to your happy place mentally, it brings you back to like, you know what, I have this. I can do this. And it is such a valuable toolkit for everybody and anyone. In fact, my own daughter uses it.
She does.
So before, on our way to school, I would drop her off and I would say, okay, tell me 3 things that you're grateful for. And they can't be something that you've used before. And my son tells me the same thing, 3 things. And then I said, what is one positive thing that's going to happen today? And her spelling was kind of going down because she kept saying, oh, I suck at spelling. I'm not good at spelling. I'm like, that's because you're putting out there that you're not good at it, so you're going to continue not being good at it. And that's along those lines. Everybody does that. I don't like talking in front of people, or, oh, man, I've got this going on, and I just don't like it. You know what? Change it, because if you say, I can't handle this, then you're going to get more of, I can't handle this, because you're putting it out there that you
Absolutely.
can't handle it.
No, I agree. I think it's something that sometimes it's a subconscious thing. And I think if you can bring that to the forefront about being positive and grabbing a hold of it rather than, because a lot of times we don't know what we're doing until it's pointed out. And what I mean by that is, if I'm negative, I may not consciously know I'm being negative until I somehow have that pointed out.
Right.
And I think that's important. You spoke with your daughter, and so is this something that could be useful for other kids as well?
Absolutely.
Or are you geared towards kids in some ways?
I sure am.
Okay.
Yep. And I need to add that my daughter's spelling scores went up to the top 90s to 100%.
And I would imagine that
because
positive,
you have to retrain your mind.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
the same thing was happening with her math.
Okay.
And so they're learning, and I'm trying to teach them this now.
Okay.
So what I have done in the past is I've gone into the students at elementary schools or even middle and high school, but for elementary you have to kind of tailor your talking.
Sure.
And I would talk about what a good friend is, because you need to start at that point. And again, if you don't respect yourself, how are other people going to respect you?
Okay.
And and I talked on a different level to the middle school and the high school students, because they're at different phases and they need to be talked to a different way.
Sure.
And recently I wrote a book. It's still in paper format, so it's
Okay.
going to be going off to the publisher soon,
Nice.
to the editor,
Congratulations on
actually
that.
editor then publisher.
Okay.
And so I did a couple of test pilots just to see what their reaction was. I had the principal read it, and she was like, I was really kind of irritated at the main character. And she's like, but then I thought maybe that was supposed to happen.
Okay.
And I said, it is.
Okay.
Because I don't want fluff. This day and age, fluff gets everybody nowhere.
Sure. Well, what's the name of the book?
It's called I Have a Choice.
Okay.
And it gives two powerful, impactful examples of how we can be lured into just going along with what our best friend would want to do.
Okay, so this, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
Yeah,
the book is
it's
geared towards kids, like of a certain age group, middle
Yes,
age?
for elementary school.
Elementary school, okay.
Yep. And so it just says about standing up for yourself at some point, but not how it only affects the people that you were maybe making fun of, but how it affects your best friend, and then how you can't take back once you've said something.
Sure.
And making fun of people says that you don't respect yourself.
I agree. You know, it's a very powerful thing to give these kids the option to stand up for themselves, because peer pressure is so strong. Listen, I work with a lot of kids in a lot of environments, and as an adult man now I can look back and say, well, you need to do this, you know, A, B, C, and D.
Right.
But when you're in that world, that environment, it's very difficult. So giving them some tools
Right.
to know what to say, because sometimes it's just lack of understanding and knowing what to say in a situation, or if your friend is doing something that you don't agree with, how can you not necessarily isolate them, but say, hey, maybe you're not taking the right approach with this as a friend. So I think the book is wonderful, and I want you to say the name one more time so our audience can hear the name of the book.
It's called I Have a Choice.
Okay, and it's wonderful. And right now it's on paperback?
No, it's just in paper form.
Paper form,
Paper
okay.
form. It's going to the editor and then to the publisher.
Well, that's
hopefully
wonderful.
soon.
So, I mean, listen, you have a very positive personality, and I think that is wonderful. And your company that is the motivational company, what's the name of your company?
The Positive Shift.
Okay.
And my website you can go to is Positive Shift Ahead.
Okay.
Because we all have to move forward. We can't live in the past.
Okay. And that's wonderful. And, you know, I want our viewers in the community to know that there are options out there. If you're feeling depressed or you need, and now let me just ask you this, is this geared towards groups? Could it be individuals? Is it anything?
It can be individual for life coaching.
Okay.
It can be in a group coaching session as well, or we can go in and do companies. We can do small businesses.
Okay.
I do a lot of chambers of commerce, rotaries.
Okay.
Just because, again, it's attacking and getting rid of those negative thoughts, because they immediately go towards a negative tone. And let's go through our subconscious, which you mentioned that earlier about, you know, conscious versus, you know, subconscious.
Absolutely.
If we understand that, we can also get ourselves a step ahead.
Well, I just want to thank you for coming out today, and obviously you have a very busy schedule, and it means a lot to me and to our department and to the community in general, and I hope they see this as a valuable asset that we have, and it's wonderful that you took the time, and
It's my pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Tim.
And I want to thank you for joining us on this episode of West Bloomfield 911. You can keep up with the police department by liking us on Facebook and following us on Twitter and Instagram. You can also sign up for Nixle.com and CrimeMapping.com for the most up-to-date information from the police department. Thank you for watching, take care, and goodbye.